Hey everybody, Brannon Beliso here. Today we're talking about success. Is happiness defined? I think defining happiness for yourself is really the art of life. And Dalai Lama says that really well, that the person who is richest is the one who could be happiest with the least. And I remember as a child, I could be playing with a stick and a rock, and I was happy as a camper, right? Happy as a camper, or I was a happy camper. So think about that for a moment. What truly defines happiness for you? Now I know the pressures of society, right? The stereotypes, keeping up with the Joneses. If you drive this kind of car, if you live in this sort of house, and people think you're really cool and rich, that all of a sudden you should be happy. And then I think what's challenging with that for me, when I look at somebody, God rest his soul, Robin Williams and Kurt Cobain and people like that might have had clinical mental illnesses. I don't want to say that without being derogatory or out of line, but it just always perplexed me that somebody could be so successful and so unhappy, when I think that's what so many of us think success is: being famous, being rich, notoriety. So truly ask yourself that question and put hashtag I understand. What does that mean to you? What does happiness mean for you? If I was to take away Brannon the speaker, Brannon the influencer, Brannon the disruptor, Brannon the father, Brannon the son, Brannon the business owner, Brannon the martial artist, who am I? Who am I? And if I can define that without what I am to everybody else, that is where I believe peace and happiness lives for me. Because if I define happiness by being a husband, if I define happiness by being a speaker on the circuit, if I define happiness by being a dad, if I define happiness by being an 8th degree black belt, what do I do if any of that's taken away from me? What if my wife left me tomorrow? What if my businesses went belly up and failed? Could I find happiness? Could I do that? That's heavy, right? To even phantom that. And that truly is the art of life. As repeating Dalai Lama again for everybody coming aboard, the person who is richest is the one who could be happiest with the least. With the least. So think about that for a moment. If you took all of those things away, who are you? Who are you? And that truly is where happiness is for me, is stripping away those layers, like Shrek said, an ogre is like onions, and there's many layers. But if I could strip away each of those layers, Brannon the speaker, Brannon the father, the son, the uncle, Brannon, strip it all away, what do I get to at that point? I get nothing. Nothing. If I took away all these different parts of me and I looked at me, it would be in that nothingness. And they teach that in Zen, they teach that in Buddhism, that in that place of nothingness is where we find peace and happiness, because it's not attached to anything, right? And the Buddhism talks about that a lot, the law of detachment, being able to detach yourself from people, places, and things, and still be you, and still be happy, and still be clearly defined as a whole entity. Are you with me on that? A whole entity within itself. Hey Lyle, what's up, Philip? Define it for yourself, sir. And I can't define any of that for you. I can only speak for myself, right? As I'm doing now. And recognizing what that means, and then pursue it relentlessly. Because contrary to what we believe, happiness is not a Hallmark greeting card. Not at all. Not today, not tomorrow, it's not. Happiness can be very challenging at times, with suffering from the condition of being human. So I'm ever mindful of that, and I speak on these terms at 57 years old, having been around the block a bunch of times. Man, what I used to think happiness was caused me a lot of pain. A lot of pain, a lot of pain. And I find happiness in the most simple of things, and that simplicity comes from defining clearly who I am in this present moment. Right now, I'm in with you. That's all that matters, is to share what I'm experiencing with you. Once we're done, I'll be on to the next place. So the present is the present because it's a gift, and that's why it's called the present. We've heard that one, it's nothing new, and I truly believe that. And if I define myself by the past, or I project myself into the future, I cause myself a lot of suffering and pain. Confucius or Lao Tse said that really well. If I live in the past, I'm depressed. If I live in the future, I'm anxious. But if I can be right here, right now, in the moment, I offer myself the best opportunity for peace. Yeah, truly I do. So it is that exercise, it is that effort, it is that habit, it is that process of being in the present moment. And how do you do that? You figure it out. You figure it out. For everybody, it's different. And you've got to discover for yourself what it takes to be in this present moment, right here, right now. That is the art of life in all its glory. Because I can't touch the next, hopefully God gives me another 30, 40 years. I can't touch the past 57. I can only be in this moment, right here, right now. Oh, it's gone. Shit, it's gone. Oh, there's another one, gone. So that art of really embracing the moment in all its fleeting is crazy. It's crazy, right? It is. And so most people just abandon and say, forget it. I'd rather live in the past because the memories are this or that, painful or not. The memories ingrained in my brain, and the future doesn't exist, so I can dream and dream and dream. But sometimes to live in this present moment, right here, right now, can take a lot of work. It takes a lot of work and a lot of focus and a lot of effort. But through practice, through making it a habit, it does become easier. And that for me is really the power of defining happiness for me. Cool? So figure it out for yourself, whatever that might be. But I'd encourage us, this is not a dress rehearsal. We don't get a do-over. There's no do-over. And people like to say that, well, tomorrow I got tomorrow. Tomorrow I get another day. I get a do-over tomorrow. Hey, we're all one phone call away. This could be my last day right now, right here. Boom, gone in the next 5 minutes. You never know. You never know. So we always think, and the Filipinos would say this, bukas na lang. That means, tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. When really all we have is today. Remember Rocky 3? Where he couldn't get his head back in the game to fight Clubber Lang, Mr. T? And he's running in the water with Apollo, and Apollo goes, there is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. There isn't. All we really have is today. Cool? All right. So this is Brannon Beliso. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more learning like this. Become part of our Disruptor group page if you like innovation in business. And do think about joining me in November for It's Time Live Ignite. It's not just going to be a martial arts business seminar. I find my purpose and journey is taking me in this direction. So I'm going to represent a lot more of that thinking, because to me success is happiness defined. Or join us next year in Mallorca, Spain, right, on the beautiful island Mallorca for It's Time Live Europe. I'm looking forward to that. Join me, Roland, Melody Johnson, and Stephen Reinstein. Cool? All right, folks, for everything else, go to brannonbeliso.com. Until we talk again, please, you go out there and live your best life.